do I feel good today? Can't say so much about a few college football teams, however. What is good, universe? Welcome into your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. We like to call it Driving the Line. We are here every single day, live Sunday through Friday, on demand on Saturday, courtesy of my man, AB. Now, we've got a lot to get to today. It's week 12 on Sunday in the National Football League, but we're also coming off a Banana Land Saturday that we must hit on to discuss. So a lot to talk about on this episode of DTL. But as always, before we look forward, we must look back. How did we do on Saturday? Well, not bad. Once again, for the second day in a row, Big Chuck pulling the wagon. 3 out of 4 with his 5-pack of plays from the 5 biggest leagues in soccer around the world. Now, you guys know we are live every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you're a crew member or a premium member, you get tons of extra content. But all of you on your way in, when you watch on YouTube, please hit the like button. Make it a part of your day. It severely helps the show grow. So without further ado, we got a lot to get to. Straight picks, props, game breakdowns. There's nobody better than the DTL crew. It's time for the picks. I see the chat is already popping, and you know my two boys on a Sunday morning are ready to be popping. First and foremost, he is my partner, and his volunteers took care of business. AB, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, boys, crew, everybody. Look, yesterday was nuts. Absolute chaos in college football, and I'll tell you this. Now, Tennessee has one game left against Vanderbilt. Win and you're in the college football playoff. Let's go.
That's got to be exciting. We'll get back to AB in just a second. Now, this man has been carrying the wagon. My goodness, perfect on Thursday, and now your 5-pack just coming in strong. Big Chuck, live from the Dirty. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach, crew, boys, however we're phrasing that one. But yeah, just did quite well. Excited about yesterday, but more excited about today. Love this NFL card. I think we have some great opportunities to cash some more tickets, put some more displays on the Monday show as well. So ready to get it going.
All right, well, let's get it going. But normally we don't talk a lot of college football on the Sunday morning show, but today it just feels necessary. Because, AB, last night we talked all week. If Indiana lost, and what did I say right here on DTL? I said it feels like one of those games where Ohio State blows out Indiana. I was absolutely correct. But the best thing to happen to Indiana yesterday was the SEC. And that was the argument we made all week would kill Indiana. It's because of this. Alabama scores 3 points on the road at OU, a team that's been awful all year. And then Ole Miss loses to Florida. So 2 of those top 5-6 teams we talked about, they lose yesterday. What did you make of what happened in the SEC?
Yeah, nuts, man. Like, first off, our man Trent Wade in the chat saying, look, fire Kalen DeBoer, the brand new head coach at Alabama. Yeah, tough spot, taking, filling Nick Saban's shoes. But, dude, there's no excuse. And I agree with Trent. I mean, I agree with him on pretty much everything. But, yeah, like, that's the best thing for Indiana is that Bama loses, like you said.
Yep.
All right. Ole Miss loses, all right, at number 9. But also Texas A&M loses as well. And they weren't in, but they were a team that could have come up and taken a spot. Yeah, Indiana, they lost, and I know that stinks, but they're going to be all right. And I think that they deserve to be as well. I want them in. You know what I mean? They deserve it. So, yeah, good day for them.
It's funny how the football gods shake things out, Charles, just like this. But then you look at the Big 12, it's an absolute mess because we thought it was going to be BYU and Colorado. And what happens yesterday? BYU and Colorado get beat. So now Arizona State is still alive. Iowa State is still alive. Who knows what's going to happen there?
It's a complete cluster. I must agree. It's going to come down to the very end. It looked pretty solid, but now it's up in the air. Yeah, our Arizona State looks like the class. Iowa State also. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this one finishes out. Colorado should still feel strong. Yeah, they really threw away one in that one against Kansas. Kansas, I think, what did they say? That's the first time excuse me, a under 500 team had beat a three. However they did that, but yeah, they pulled off a little bit of history yesterday.
Great job, Charles. However they did that, that's the point. I understand what you're saying. They pulled off a couple of big wins 2 weeks in a row over two really good teams. And now Kansas has shaken up the entire Big 12 discussion. Anything else pop off? Because, AB, those are really the four things yesterday that now if you're an SEC team and you've got three next to your name, you cannot bitch. You cannot moan. There can't be any more about I would listen to it with two, but if you're three, are you just basically waiting to see if you're one of the lucky ones?
Yeah, you're praying for anything that you could get at this point, right? On the other side, okay, now we got to start looking at conference championship games, okay? Is Ohio State and Oregon going to play again? Remember, Oregon beat them the first go-around. Dude, playing a team twice, having to beat them, that's a big thing. And then is Notre Dame the best team in the country? And I don't mean that as a negative on Oregon or Ohio State or Texas or anybody else. I say it as a positive to Notre Dame. They lost to Northern Illinois. And
yes, they did.
Immediately, they just started beating the hell out of everyone, right? Like, Coach, you talk about it all the time. Style points, right? I don't know if anyone has a better resume of style points than Notre Dame. They've covered the over by themselves, I believe, in almost every week. Like, it's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
Shout out to Christian. He says, I love the college football talk. Christian, thank you very much. Mark says Notre Dame plays no one. Somebody said that Indiana played nobody. So it's about who's in front of you. Town Tizzle says, I can see Ohio State beating Oregon in the rematch. That's the beauty of the way they've laid things out. Because, guys, you look at the Big Ten right now, Oregon, even if they lose in the Big Ten championship, they're going to be fine because they are still undefeated. Then Ohio State with one loss, then Indiana with the one, but Ohio State obviously has the head-to-head. And then Penn State, they lost to Ohio State. That's their only loss right now. So those are the four top teams in the Big Ten. Do we think, Charles, potentially all four could get in and ruin the party for somebody coming out of the SEC?
I always thought Ohio State and Penn State were going to be in there. So now I could definitely see some more spots, especially with SEC teams knocking each other off. We still have some more games to go. So we still don't know. That could do more damage to themselves. So, yeah, I could definitely see four getting in from the Big Ten, especially with the Big 12 faltering. So, absolutely.
Yeah, as AB said, I think this will be the most impactful, intense, important championship week that we've ever had in the history of college football. It's going to be that important. Who's going to come out of the ACC? Who knows? SMU? Could we have SMU and Boise State in the college football playoff this year? Possible. It's possible. Gentlemen, well done. Gentlemen, well done. Do not forget to hit that like button on the way in. It really helps the show grow, and we are really starting to grow our YouTube page. So thank you all very much. Gentlemen, let's get to Sunday now, because it's a very important week. There's a lot of teams that cannot afford any more losses. There's a lot of teams that would like to kind of add to the cushion that they enjoy in their respective divisions. So we start this show with straight picks. Then we'll get to our prop picks. So, producer man, I need to see my beautiful screen, please. And AB, I like when you don't like a couple of spreads, let's throw the spreads out. Just play the money lines. You're up, big boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, look, we're going to start this thing with a nice little pre-Thanksgiving week appetizer here. All right. Whether you like bacon or you like deviled eggs or sausage balls, whatever you like to get down on. All right. We're going to take the Vikings money line against the Bears and the Packers money line against the 49ers. Put those two together here, and I believe you've got what is that? Plus 120? Yeah, somewhere around there. Not huge. We're not paying any mortgages off, but I just want these two teams to win the game. It's like, you know what I mean, for the bet, right? Like, just win the game, get get out. Packers at home. The Vikings, well, you can talk more on it. That spread of 3 against Chicago is fascinating.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing, and I will get to that in a moment. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Real quick, you mentioned Thanksgiving. If people are wondering, there are 3 games on Thanksgiving. That is the usual now. Bears-Lions is the first game. Then the Giants. Hello, Tommy DeVito. Welcome to Thanksgiving Day. On the road at Dallas. Boy, that will be awful. And then a really good one Thursday night. The Dolphins and the Packers in Green Bay on Thanksgiving night. And then Black Friday. How about the Raiders? How about the Chiefs live from Arrowhead? So 3 games Thursday and 1 game on Friday. All right, back to Sunday. Big Chuck, you're going overs. You're going in Washington. Explain yourself.
Cowboys Commanders, the total has actually gone over in 6 of their last 10 meetings. And with the Cowboys playing for pride, the Commanders coming off that bye week and wanting to get right after some bad losses, and exact a little revenge on the Cowboys who've had their number over the last few years. I think this is a sneaky over at the 45. Yeah, I like this one in the nation's capital.
Okay. I like it too. It's got to get out to a really good start. A couple people in the chat, though, AB, interesting thought. They said that Giants-Cowboys Thanksgiving Day game could get very interesting if some of the rumors are potentially true. Could you see a scenario where Daniel Jones gets signed by the Cowboys and is somehow played on Thanksgiving Day?
I mean, look, Jerry Jones comes from the Vince McMahon school of anything like marketing-wise, right, is good for business. Look, I don't know, man. Like, I am so fascinated at where he's going to get. He says he wants to go to a playoff contender, okay? And I'm not saying that to take a shot at Dallas. I'm saying, okay, well, that is great, but they got to pick you up.
Yeah, they got to pick you up, and they probably already have a starter. If they're in contention, they probably already have a starter. But
I think
the whole week was
San
bananas.
Francisco.
Interesting, because we don't know how healthy Brock Purdy is. That would be an interesting one. Shout out to David. He says, I love the show. Thank you, David. We love doing it. 7 days a week. We're grinding, and it's starting to make waves. All right, we'll keep our eyes on Daniel Jones. All right, if you're going to cash with the coach, the last couple of weeks I have been absolutely on fire on this show, and today I got my normal 3-pack, guys. I'm going to go with the coach's 3-pack if you guys don't mind. My first one is the late game, Seahawks -1. Seahawks went to San Francisco last week, and they got the job done with 12 seconds to go. That's momentum. That is a scenario now where the Seahawks are looking at their record, no longer saying, hey, we're at the bottom of our division, but we're right in the thick of it, and now we get a chance to knock off our first-place team today in Arizona. I think the Cardinals stumble. I like the Seahawks at home. Then the Broncos, they're on the road in Las Vegas. This Denver team is a lot better than people think. Yes, they stubbed their toe in Kansas City, but damn it, they nearly beat the Chiefs. Last play of the game. And today, all I got to lay is less than a touchdown in Vegas. The Raiders coming off a long trip to Miami, losing by 15. That's not going to happen. Broncos -5.5. And then, as AB said, that 3 points for the Vikings, very, very interesting at Chicago. But I believe ultimately at the end of the day, this is the 3rd of 3 straight away games. I don't like that. But they've won both games ugly. I think today is ugly, but they get the job done and cover that spread of 3. Those are my 3 if you want to cash with the coach. All right, now let's go to the prop side of things, gentlemen. And AB, I know that you've really been in the lab overnight, and tell me what 4 you have come out with.
Yes, sir. Look, we're going to go interceptions here. We're going to prey on people's misery today, all right? Sorry about that, but Tommy DeVito, I like you. I think you're throwing a pick today, and I'm willing to put money that you do it, all right? -120 to get him. Brandon Allen. You're probably wondering, what in the hell is a Brandon Allen? Well, he's a starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers because Brock Purdy is out. We're going to take Brandon Allen to throw a pick against the Green Bay Packers because that's what that defense does, and they do it very well. And then finally, Bears, Vikings. I'm taking both of you. I'm going to take Caleb to throw a pick, and I'm going to take Sam Darnold to throw a pick. I feel like both these guys are going to have some weird games today because it feels like a weird game right there in the NFC North. So it does, doesn't it, Coach? So there, those are the 4 that I'm going to go with. Yeah.
It does. That's a great word. Weird is a great word for today because there's just a lot of matchups that don't make any sense. teams that need it. So weird. I like that word. That's what we're going to go with. It's the word of the day. JR, shout out. You guys are the best, period. JR, thank you very much. I had a really kind of a moment a couple of days ago because I felt like after Football Friday, we're really starting to get our footing. We're coming up on a year. Everybody knows we're here, and now it's time to really start to expand. So I love that, JR. With people like you, we're going to do exactly that. All right, Big Chuck, you got 3 props today. Talk to me.
Jordan Love to throw an interception. I'm simply just riding this one till the wheels fall off. He has 11 on the season and is throwing 1 in every game. He's played 8 this season. So, yeah, love this one. And at minus 125, it's not bad juice. The 49ers defense is still intact. Zach Ertz, over 30.5 receiving yards. He is getting about 6 targets per game, and he's cashed his prop in 5 of his last 6. So, love Zach Ertz to get at least 4 or 5 catches and at least 31 receiving yards. And lastly, scary Terry McLaurin, over 59.5 receiving yards. Normally, Terry, he has a good game, an off game. Last game, he had that 1 catch, 10-yard performance. So this is his get right game, especially he'll get up for the Cowboys. Plus, he's went over 59 receiving yards in 5 of 9 outings. So, yeah, love Scary Terry to also have a big day.
I love Scary Terry. It's amazing in the NFL, isn't it, guys, how you look at certain things. Unlike in college, when the players are really big, hey, it's a pros. He's going to bounce back, and I love that play with Terry McLaurin. All right, gentlemen, all the picks have been given out, but we say all the time here on the show, we like to educate and entertain, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So this is making headlines today, so we're going to move this one up, producer man, right to the top, and I'm talking about the 49ers and the Packers because, AB, Brock Purdy is out. Allen is in, as if things couldn't get any worse for the 49ers coming off that bad loss at home to the Seahawks, now having to go on the road, and then they're going to have the Bills after this one. How bad has it gotten for San Francisco?
It's tough, man. I mean, just so many injuries, and it happens every year, and, you just can't keep going, man. Like, it's hard. And they're in a really tough spot because, Coach, I think you said it best earlier this week. Green Bay is what, 7-3, I think?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's weird that they're 7-3 and in absolute must-win mode because their damn division is so good, right? With Detroit and Minnesota. So it's crazy because the Packers are one of the best teams in football, and I think that they absolutely handle their business. I'm a big Matt LaFleur guy, the head coach of the Packers, and he's a smart dude, and he understands that when you have the opportunity to put someone down, you put them down. You don't mess around with it. And I think that that's exactly what Green Bay does today.
This is the National Football League. This is the NFL. You can't feel sorry for anybody. Now, Big Chuck, the 49ers are in such a bad way. You look at some of their quarterbacks over the years under Kyle Shanahan. How many quarterbacks do you think after today Kyle Shanahan has had to deal with as far as being a starter for him since 2017? What would you say?
I would say at least 9 to 10, maybe 8.
Okay, maybe my surprise is off 7, and I was shocked at that number because they've been so good that you'd think they'd have that steadiness, but they haven't. We're talking Brian Hoyer, C.J. Beathard, welcome to town. Jimmy Garoppolo, where have you been? Nick Mullins, forgot about him. Trey Lance is now in Dallas. And now we have today another quarterback stepping in. This thing has gone from 3 all the way to 5.5. And I'm a little bit shocked, guys, that it didn't go to 6 or 7 once Brock Purdy was ruled out. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, the other game, AB, and Big Chuck is already on the over in this game. Anytime you see any NFL team with a 2-digit next to their name, you get very weary, no matter who it is. But the Commanders now laying 11 against a Cowboys team that has been lifeless the last couple of weeks without Dak Prescott. Has this number now gotten too high?
It's big, but go back to Raphael's stat from Friday. We've had 5 games in the NFL so far this season with a double-digit spread favorite. All 5 covered. All of them. All of them. All right, we got 2 of them today. This is the first one, and the Chiefs are the other team. So, I mean, and look, Dallas has injuries. You know what? You know the head coach is? Dan Quinn. You know where he came from? Dallas. He knows that team better than Mike McCarthy does. We'll see, man. I won't lay it. Like, it's too many points for me, but history says.
That's why we do Raffy stat of the day. It hits so many times. He doesn't just throw a stat out there. And when you leave Dallas, per the Dan Quinn thing, you rarely hear anybody leaving Dallas because they never win a Super Bowl. They never win playoff games. You never hear, hey, you know what? I'd like to thank Jerry Jones for the last 6 years of overpaying me. Jason Garrett, if you know, you know. You never hear that going out the door. It's always bad. It's always ugly. And Dan Quinn, I think in his gut, he wanted to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Don't you guys believe that? And he didn't get that, Big Chuck. And now he's still pissed, and they're in the playoff race. That is a two-headed monster that Dallas does not want to deal with today.
The ultimate revenge spot. Yeah, I think he's going to put the gas pedal down. He's not going to let off. That's why I like the correlation with the Commanders and the over team total. Anything that has to do with points in the Commanders, I just think they're going to go full throttle, not going to let off the Cowboys' throat. So I feel bad for him in this spot. We saw with the big numbers. We thought 14 may have been too many for the Lions, and it turned out not to be. So I could see this getting ugly for the Cowboys fast.
Yeah, we mentioned it on the show last week when Detroit, a lot of people were saying, hey, Jags are a great teaser spot at plus 20. I said, be very, very careful. And AB just talked about it. And today, somebody in the chat said, I like the Lions at 7, 11, 20. We get it. We get it. Because the Lions, guys, this is now a sneaky, sneaky big game for both. So the Lions are laying now 7.5. I hate that hook, AB. I really do. The Colts now at 5-6, very much alive in the wild card race. So the way the Lions have stubbed their toes a couple of times against the Texans, down 16.5, come back and win. They're not impenetrable, but the Colts have a quarterback that when he plays great, he can be dynamic. AB, what do you make of this game?
Anthony Richardson can be dynamic, but today's the day he's not going to do that because it's all about matchups, and everything that the Colts don't do well, the Lions do extremely well. Like, they're going to get after Anthony Richardson. They're not going to give him time. He's going to throw interceptions all over the place. They are going to put him on his back. Like, it's going to be a tough day for Indianapolis. Like, I would look to maybe try to get that, Lions spread, under, like, maybe parlay it with a Richardson pick or something like that. You know what I mean? But if you proverbial gun to the head and said, you got to pick a spread, give me Detroit. I'll ride that one
all day. And if you want to put them in a teaser, it would take it down to 1.5. And 1.5. So there's a lot of different ways to play this. What I would probably do, is like AB said, get that number under 7. And if you buy a full point at most books, you're probably laying an extra 20 or 30 cents. So it might be minus 140, minus 150, something like that, if you so choose. Big Chuck, these Lions, when you're talking about no room for error, the odds say that they are the favorites right now. But right behind them, Minnesota, right at the top of that wild card discussion. But they're 8-2. The Lions are 9-1. Who's number 2 in that wild card discussion? We're talking about the Green Bay Packers at 7-3. So even though they're 9-1, there's certainly still pressure on the Lions to stay successful.
And I think this may be a tricky spot for them. We know these Colts games keep games tight, and it's not a good business to go against the Lions. We've learned that, but I think they could possibly keep this one tight. But I think they still get the victory and keep that momentum going and that edge over the Vikings and the Packers. So yeah, they definitely Dan Campbell definitely knows how much importance it is to get a victory and keep that gap in between. So yeah, I definitely think they'll get the win, but I think the Colts could keep it tight.
AB, go.
One thing to remember in this game, all right, Anthony Richardson specifically, is that they score in big play bunches, right? Like, he's got a great deep ball. That's how they don't have long sustained drives. He's a 49% completion quarterback, right? So what I'm getting at is that the Colts are one of the worst teams in the NFL in terms of offensive time of possession. The Lions are one of the absolute best. Okay, so if you're looking at prop plays, the Lions will have the ball all day long, right? Like, you're going to have more pass attempts. You're going to have more options at, receptions, because they'll just have the ball almost the whole damn game. And if Indy is doing well, that means that Detroit will have the ball even more because their success plan is scoring quickly, right? they're not a long sustained drive team because that's when they turn it over.
It is such a hidden stat in NFL when you're handicapping football games is time of possession. Very few people look at it, or very few people look at the matchup and how that could potentially play out. And kind of normally leads to a lot of unders in certain positions if you can find them. All right, gentlemen, another game I want to hit on. And this is why I say today is a sneaky good day, a sneaky important day, is that there are certain matchups, AB, that we look at and go, "Wow, the records suck," or "These teams suck." But then you go, "Wait a second, they're not necessarily out of the discussion when you're talking about the wild card." And I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins. They've now won a couple in a row. Tua's back. Offense is looking better. They've scored over 30 both games. Went to L.A., then won last week against the Raiders. I understand, not the best teams, but they still won. But now they're home today, laying a full touchdown against Drake May and the Patriots. The Dolphins are 4-6 and very much alive in the discussion, AB, for a wild card spot.
The Miami Dolphins, we've spoken about it. They have the most exotic offense in the NFL, and it's not even close. They use more formations than everybody. This playbook is like a Cheesecake Factory menu. You ever been there? It's like 15.
Too much.
It's huge. That's what their playbook is, okay? But seriously, go look at the games when Tua is starting and healthy and when Tua is not playing. They're two completely different teams. When Tua is in there, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I'll tell you right now, the Dolphins will beat the hell out of the New England Patriots today. They'll beat the hell out of them. Tua will, I'm telling you, man, like when he's good and healthy, this offense is perfect for everything that he does. Yeah, Miami will roll today. And Gerard Mayo, the coach of the Patriots, played at Tennessee. I love the dude to death, man. But he's walking into a tough spot today, dude. All in on the Dolphins.
We're starting to see exactly why the Dolphins were willing to give up over $200 million to get it to Tua, because they understood behind closed doors they are a completely different team with this cat starting at quarterback. So we'll see if that run can continue today at home. There is, Charles, though, some people that believe that that is not necessarily the case. Would you rather be an NFC team right now, Charles, or an AFC team as far as wanting to be in the playoff picture? Which is more difficult in your mind?
I'd want to be in the AFC all day. The NFC is stacked, top to bottom. We even have teams. We were even talking about in the NFC North for the whole everyone getting in there. So yeah, it's stacked in NFC. Yeah, AFC, I think it's more wide open. I would definitely choose that if that was my path to get into the playoffs.
Shout out to a couple of people in the chat. Scott says, I'm a Patriots fan, but I think Tyreek has a huge day. Moy said he is certainly due for one. It's been a Tyreek-less year so far. Then his former team, AB, there's some blasphemy going on in the chat right now. Liddy said, "Oh, Chiefs stumbled today." Somebody said it. If I blame Liddy, I apologize if it wasn't you. But AB, they're laying now. It's come down to 10.5. It's been an 11 in a lot of places. But how do you think the Chiefs bounce back from their first loss of the year in Buffalo last week?
Just keep being yourself. Like, that's it. You don't have to change anything. Just be yourself, man. Stay positive, right? Like, this is a good locker room check on Kansas City, which, I mean, again, like, as long you've got 15 back there and you got Kelsey, like, you got Andy Reid, you're going to be fine, right? Like, just show up and play your game. Now, here's the interesting part, all right? The Chiefs have scored 3 total points in the third quarter of games since September.
Crazy. Since September.
That's it. 3. It's insane. You watch tonight. The Rams have scored 1 touchdown in the first quarter all year. They've scored 13 total points in the first quarter. Like, it's crazy when you see these, like, breakdowns. But what does that mean? The Chiefs score in the second quarter. The Chiefs score in the fourth quarter, right? So just be yourself, man.
Something to think about. Something to think about. By the way, if you guys haven't seen this, you guys know I'm a sucker for behind-the-scenes stories and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. If you haven't seen the story on the left-hand man, have you guys seen this? AB, Charles, the left-hand man?
Dynamite Dan, the left-hand man.
Yeah.
Now, what do we got?
So the story of this guy, when he was a kid, he had a bad accident, fell out of the back of a truck that his dad was driving. Imagine this. His dad was driving, and basically all the nerves to his shoulder were killed. And so eventually he said, take my right shoulder off. He was an all-state basketball player with one arm. He was all-state baseball with one arm. And then he went to BYU, and by happenstance, he gets introduced to Andy Reid. Andy Reid makes him his right hand, basically just his assistant, and now he's the only guy that stands next to Patrick Mahomes, catching the ball for him. They have a routine. Mahomes loves him, and he's only got one arm. It's an incredible story. An incredible story.
Can you imagine somebody like right in real time yelling at you like that's the best you can do? He's better than you with one arm. Like that's an awesome. First off, that's an awesome story. Second off, like that's a motivator. You're like, oh my god, dude, the one arm guy. He's 3-4 at the plate today. You said he could mash in baseball. Like that's unbelievable.
Apparently, there was a joke when he was being interviewed by Andy Reid. Andy said, "You're basically going to be my right hand man." And so this guy
left
says,
hand.
well, yeah, could you deal with the left? He goes, that's going to be a little trouble. And that's how it came up. Left-hand man is in a joke with Andy Reid about just that. It's an incredible story, and it's really, really super cool. So we'll see how the Chiefs do today. All right, gentlemen, you guys know on Sunday mornings we never go longer than we have to, but there's a Sunday night game, and tonight we've got DTL Primetime Live at 7 Eastern time. We break down everything Sunday night football, Eagles and the Rams. And AB, the Eagles are probably the quietest, hottest team in the entire league. And now they're going to come out here to SoFi, just exactly 48 miles from where I'm sitting right now. And both teams need a win tonight for completely different reasons. Your early take, AB.
Remember, all right, we watched this a week ago with the Eagles. Their path to success is through their defense and time of possession. They slow games down. They're not high scoring. Like they want to beat you 24-6. That's what they want to do. The Rams are actually the aggressor in this game. So if you think that Philly is going to handle their business, play way under, way under, because Philly just wants, it's like a boa constrictor, man. Like they wanted quiet and just choke you out.
It's so hard to watch an Eagles team right now. And this is how you win, Charles. But it doesn't make handicapping, it doesn't make betting, and it doesn't make betting on Eagles props easy at all. They've almost become a team that you either have to stay away or you have to watch the no-fly zone and play an interception. That's about all I can trust these days.
That's the correlation with the Eagles. If you like them, you want to stay under. But I agree with AB. I think the Rams are going to force them to score because I like the Rams to stay within that 3. I love those home dogs catching points, and I like the total. I think we see a high scoring game, and if it's going to be a high scoring game, it definitely favors the Rams. I think they bring the Eagles out of their shell somewhat and force them to have to keep up the tempo. But if it stays under, though, it definitely benefits the Eagles. They want to keep this one low scoring.
Shout out to Raphael in the chat. He said 5 days ago, the Sunday night football total was 50.5. It's come down a full 1.5. AB, why do you think that is?
People, they realize how the Eagles go about their business, right? And Sean McVay, I mean, he's a conservative coach at heart too. This is going to be a great game. Oh God, I can't wait for tonight. There are a lot of ways that this game could go. But the fact that it's almost dropped down 2 points, I mean, it goes to tell you.
That is, it's a red flag for a lot of reasons. Matt is kind of saying what a lot of us is why AB is reacting this way. He says, I've been wanting to play the Eagles -3 for a few days, and I just can't quite bring myself to do it. And Matt, that's very, very fair. So tonight, 7 Eastern time, we'll talk about other ways to go about betting this game. AB, go.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Remember this. Go back a week ago. What did the Eagles do? Dude, you remember their running back? All right. Saquon is everything in this offense. All right. He's 35% of the total yards for this year. Anytime touchdowns, rushing. Like, he's like Derrick Henry, man. Like, if you want a one-hit play, Saquon longest rush. There you go.
I love that one. He always seems to hit that. And if you guys missed it this week, Madden, which I'm still barely in, they put the backward jump run into the game this week. That would be sick to play that in the game and be able to be good enough to bounce backward with Saquon Barkley. But AB, we should point out that Saquon's one of those guys when they get like a 2-touchdown lead, they will shut him down. if they feel like they're completely in control, because they want him in the playoffs, and he'll shut himself down. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's hard to bet on his total game, which is why you said longest rush.
Absolutely. That's exactly why. Like, play something you could hit in one, and that means if they're taking him out of the game, he's probably already hit that number. So there you go.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, time for our final takes here on the Sunday morning show. We get in and we get out. The live numbers amazing. So thank you to all of you who make us a part of your day on Sundays. Big Chuck, let me come over to you. Your final take heading into a very pivotal, important Sunday afternoon in the National Football League.
I think we see the favorites take care of business, but at the same time, I think we could see some of these home dogs throwing a wrench in some of these other favorites also. So I think it's the NFL stays unpredictable for a reason.
No doubt. Austin says, have we got to the Titans being unable to beat the Texans yet? Sorry, Austin, they didn't quite make the show, but if AB would like to hit on them in his final take, he is certainly allowed to.
Yeah, the Houston Texans should probably put it all over the Tennessee Titans. And look, remember this, all right? When the Houston Oilers left Houston, they went to Nashville, all right? Tennessee Titans. The Titans own all of the Oilers. Like, that's their brand. That's their history, right? They own the Oilers. So you'll see a lot of fans in Houston that wear old Oilers gear. That's actually Titans gear. It's not the Texans. So they're actually supporting the other team that already left. You'll see it all over. And by the way, again, Houston could put it all over.
It could be an ugly one. Texans, these are one of those games where you're supposed to win as the
Will Levis is throwing a pick. Let me just say
at minus 280.
Yeah.
Book it. Shout out to Rob. He says, glad I was able to catch the show live. Usually a bit too early for me on a Sunday morning. LOL. Rob, me too. Rob, me too. But damn it, we grind and we get through it. And coming up on, what are we, 10 months now. It's been amazing. And the ride is really just getting started. We've kind of just laid the groundwork. And now we're going to grow this brand into something really, really powerful in this space. All right, that's going to do it for now. A reminder, we'll be back tonight live at 7 Eastern time. Me and the crew counting down to Sunday Night Football, the Eagles and the Rams live from SoFi. In the meantime, it is now time for you to go out into the world, for you to pay it forward, for you to be nice to one another, be honest with each other. It's the only way that this thing can work. And understand this, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My Tiger Lobo, my man from the Dirty Big Chuck, my partner AB, producer man always behind the scenes making the show look like $1 million. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day right here on Driving the Line. Good luck.